So I usually don't do this, but today, just for you guys, I'll drop a very hype chapter spoiler reveal. Chapter 1095. The title is of course called A World That's Not Worth Living In. And I'll be honest with you guys, the only reason I'm making this video is because the spoilers actually got me hyped. I do read spoilers weekly, but I don't usually make videos on it. But today, just for you guys, one-time occasion, I'll do a full summary spoiler discussion on the chapter. And if you stay to the end of the video, I'll talk about a secret spoiler that really had me thinking. So the chapter starts off with the Vice Admirals prepared to help Saint Saturn, but Saturn orders them to stand down, and Saturn says that he could easily dodge Bonnie's attack if he wanted to, but Saturn pulls out the sword out of his body and his blood disappears. So that's something really unique right there. Saturn is telling his Vice Admirals, these monsters, to no, I don't need you guys' help. And he's pretty much recovering with ease and could have dodged it himself. This guy's cocky. I have to keep it real. He's very cocky for this. Saturn then attacks Jewelry Bonnie and Sanji, a worst generation member and of course a billion berry bounty, the third strongest Straw Hat pirate, Sanji, by emitting aura from his eyes. We saw this in the earlier chapter last week. And Bonnie and Sanji are knocked in the head. And of course there's blood coming out of their head, but their heads don't explode, just showing you they're powerful enough not to get destroyed because their rank is above Commodore level. Their rank is at least minimum Rear Admiral level. Sanji and Bonnie are very powerful characters, guys. Bonnie's a captain of a worst generation crew, and of course Sanji is a billion berry man and a Yonko commander. So these guys are not going to get one-shotted by Saturn. We then see Kizaru apologize to Saturn, of course, because Kizaru, of course, we saw how he was serving milk and cookies recently. Well, he says, and of course we see that he's still on the ground, unable to move. So Luffy's attack was devastating to Kizaru, and Saturn says, your work is unusually slow this time, just showing that pretty much Luffy is doing something that a lot of previous people couldn't do to Kizaru, and that just says a lot about Luffy's power up in general. We then see Saturn try to stomp on Luffy, but Frankie extends his arm and saves his captain. Luffy is still conscious, of course, but he doesn't say anything in this chapter. So I wonder what's happening, what's brewing, what Oda has planned for Luffy. Then we see Vegapunk, Bonnie, Sanji, and Frankie unable to move due to Saturn's mysterious pattern. This premium Conqueror's Haki that he's using is really intriguing. I want to know more about this. I'll talk about it when I actually do the chapter review. But we do get some confirmation. Vegapunk says if this is not a scientific power, then this must be a Delphoid ability. So what we're hearing from this is that this is Saturn's mythical Zoan doing its work. It is not Haki, it's not anything else, it's Delphoid ability. And we know Saint Saturn is obviously the defense of science, so it could have been a scientific power, but nope, it isn't. It's actually his OP Delphoid ability. We then see Saturn grab Bonnie and squeeze her. Bonnie replies, you killed my father. And we see a little flashback of Kuma telling young Bonnie about Nika. Now this is very interesting to me because Kuma knew about Luffy's Delphoid ability, Joy Boy. And Kuma makes Nika drum rhythm sounds and they dance together. And just showing you how important Kuma is to the grand storyline. We knew this from time ever since Thriller Bark. But damn, oh damn, I didn't think it'd be this important where he's talking about Nika. Of course, that is crazy. We then, of course, see Kuma say, Bonnie, I want to be a hero who liberate the people like Nika. And it's so ironic because Luffy has Nika, Delphoid ability, Mythical Zoan, and he hates being a hero. So I thought that was very cool when I saw this in the spoilers. Now we jump back to the present time and we see Saturn says Kuma is a part of the Buccaneer race. And we finally got this special race that Kuma was a part of. The people who are once committed a crime in the past, the Buccaneer race, so they must have done something to the Void Century, and seems to have the blood of giants, making them unusually strong. So this is a powerful race, just like the Lunarians, and has the blood of the giants. I think this is very cool. Then we get a new flashback that starts. It took place 47 years ago in the Sorbet Kingdom. Of course, this is where Bonnie and Kuma's royal kingdom is. And Kuma was born in a normal family. His father was a member of the Buccaneer race, and his mother was a normal human. The information about Kuma's blood test was leaked to the world government agent at the hospital, so Kuma's entire family was captured and became slaves in Marijoa's due to their strength. After his mother's death, Kuma's father tells him about the legend of Nika. Kuma's father says it's a legend that has been passed down among Buccaneer race members. Kuma's father makes Nika drum rhythm sounds and starts dancing for Kuma, but he was suddenly shot in the head by Tenryubito for making too much noise. So that just shows you how impactful this Buccaneer race is when it comes to the Joy Boy, the Void Sentry, and whatnot. I have a theory coming out about Kuma in the future because I love this character. I've already made an in-depth video last year, but I'll do another one because Kuma is getting so much just from these spoilers. Cut to 38 years ago. Of course, we all know this is the Rock situation. The Tenryubito explained that once every 3 years, the Tenryubito comes down from Mary Joba's and conduct a human hunting game on a non-government island. Now, this is definitely sounding like some sort of terminal of power, but Tenryubito release problematic slaves on the island and wipes them out along with the native people on the island. After that, the world government claims the island as their own. So, pretty much, I think the next island that this could happen to could be Wano, guys, or could be Fishman Island, or could be an island that Luffy holds. But I think this is a very cool concept that we're seeing 38 years ago. The island that the Tenryubito chose for that year, of course, was God Valley in the West Blue. We all know Shanks from the West Blue, and Roger found Shanks in a chest, so it's all adding up. The land with many valuable resources that dare to use the word God in its name. The king of God Valley tried to stop them, but he was killed by Saint Figureland Garling. So we're seeing Garling coming back into action, and this year game hasn't started yet, but Garling is one of the Tenryubito that expects to be the champion. Young Garling was very handsome with a half-moon hair, no beard. Many Tenryubito are swooning over him. He says that he looks kind of like Shanks too in other spoilers, so that was very cool. We see that also Saturn is on God Valley as well, and he looks exactly the same that he does in the present time. Saturn, of course, looking as old as he does in the present time. I've always had the theory that the Gorosei from the Void Century, so it's not surprising. Saturn receives word that the Buccaneer child slave who's escaped was captured. And in the last page of the chapter, we see that Kuma is being dragged in the field by other slaves. This is part of the continuation of the flashback we saw Bonnie saw in chapter 1074. That suddenly two shadows appear. A mysterious person says, "Hee-haw, hold it right there, you guys." You guys all know that catchphrase. "You must be the Buccaneer, the star of this. I see what they mean. You're indeed huge. They say the blood of giants run within you." We can see that two mysterious shadows are two child slaves, a young Emporio Ivankov and a girl named Ginny. Ivankov looks pretty similar to her adult appearance. Ginny is a short-haired, smiling girl that is eating a piece of meat. We all know Luffy also eats a piece of meat. We all know that, of course, Bonnie also eats a piece of meat. So my theory is this could be Kuma's wife, or it could be Monkey D. Dragon's wife. So it could be Bonnie's mother, or it could be Luffy's mother. And that is something to look at, guys. It is definitely something to look at. Then, of course, Ginny replies, "Isn't my big bro here huge too?" When it comes to talking about Ivankov. And Ivankov says, "Just the face though." Wait, that's not the point here, you dummy. Ivankov then talks to Kuma. "I chose to live. What about you?" And the chapter ends and there's a break next week. So we got really so much things in this chapter. Going from Kuma and his race reveal to, of course, seeing characters like Ivankov and the Revolutionary and new characters like Ginny. Saturn, of course, is part of this. Figureland Garling. Yeah, of course, Saturn and Kizaru, and seeing all these things happening at Egghead Island. I have to admit, guys, even after these amazing spoilers, I'm super close to saying this might be the better arc than Wano. And I think Wano is the greatest arc in One Piece. Egghead Island is definitely giving Wano a run for its money, but we gotta wait to the end before I give my final assessment. But I have to admit, guys, this chapter spoilers were crazy. And if you guys like these type of spoiler videos, definitely drop down in the comment section for me to do more. But I do want to say one final thing, guys. I got another video talking about Rob Lucci coming out tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. And honestly, these spoilers really made me think Saturn might be above Admiral level, and probably every Gorosei's minimum Yonko level, but it's too early. I want to read the panels. I want to read the actual chapter before I give my assessment. But Saturn fans, it's looking good for you guys. It's looking very, very good for you guys.